Cars are one of the most expensive things most people will ever buy. Yet some drivers treat them like disposable coffee cups. They abuse them, neglect them, and do things that make mechanics shake their heads in disbelief. Today, we're breaking down 15 things only stupid people do to their car. If you're guilty of any of these, don't worry. There's still time to change your ways. Let's get into it. And before we start, do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to be the person making these mistakes and missing out on great car advice from Car Culture Central, especially thing number 9 in this video. Stick around for that one. Thing number 1, ignoring oil changes. Your car's oil is like its lifeblood. It keeps the engine running smoothly, reduces friction, and prevents overheating. But some people think they can go thousands of miles past their recommended oil change schedule. That's like refusing to drink water and expecting to stay hydrated. Old oil turns into sludge, clogs up vital components, and can lead to complete engine failure. If you think skipping an oil change saves money, wait until you get a $5,000 repair bill for a blown engine. Change your oil on time. Your car will thank you. Thing number 2, driving with bald tires. Some people drive on tires so worn out that they look smoother than a bowling ball, and then they wonder why they're sliding around in the rain like they're in a Fast and Furious movie. Bald tires mean no grip, no traction, and a much higher chance of hydroplaning. It's basically like wearing flip-flops on an ice rink. Don't do it. Check your tires regularly and replace them before they turn into slicks. Thing number 3, riding the brakes. We all know that one driver who has their foot on the brake pedal all the time, even when they don't need to. This wears out brake pads faster than a dog destroys a chew toy. Not to mention, it heats up the brakes and reduces stopping power when you actually need it. Instead, learn to ease off the pedal and let the car slow down naturally when possible. Your brakes and your wallet will appreciate it. Thing number 4, never washing your car. Your car might not complain when it's dirty, but trust me, it's suffering. Dirt, bird droppings, road salt, all of these things eat away at your paint and can lead to rust. And once rust sets in, it's like a disease that spreads rapidly. Washing your car isn't just about looking good, it's about protecting your investment. So unless you enjoy watching your car slowly rot away, give it a wash every once in a while. Thing number 5, ignoring check engine lights. When that little check engine light comes on, some people act like it's just a suggestion. They'll drive for months hoping it magically turns off. Newsflash, it won't. That light is there for a reason. It could be something small like a loose gas cap or something serious like a failing catalytic converter. Either way, get it checked out before a small issue turns into a major repair. Thing number 6, refueling only when the tank is empty. If you're one of those people who waits until the fuel gauge is below empty before filling up, congratulations, you're playing a dangerous game with your fuel pump. It's like waiting until your phone battery hits 1% before plugging it in and then acting surprised when it dies on you mid-call. Running on empty doesn't just risk leaving you stranded in the worst possible place, because let's be honest, it's never a convenient spot. It also wreaks havoc on your fuel pump. Your fuel pump is designed to be submerged in gasoline, which keeps it cool and lubricated. When you consistently let your fuel level drop too low, the pump starts sucking in air, which causes it to overheat and wear out prematurely. And guess what? That's not a cheap fix. A new fuel pump can set you back hundreds of dollars. And don't even get me started on the gunk at the bottom of your fuel tank. Over time, dirt and debris settle at the bottom, and when you run your tank near empty, your fuel pump starts pulling in all that nasty sediment. This can clog your fuel filter and injectors, reducing performance and causing misfires. So do yourself a favor. Fill up before the warning light even thinks about coming on. Your car and your wallet will thank you. Thing number 7, using the wrong fuel. If your car says premium fuel required, it actually means it. Some drivers think they can outsmart the manufacturer and save a few bucks by using regular instead. Like they've just uncovered some secret loophole that automakers don't want them to know about. Spoiler alert, there is no loophole, just expensive repairs waiting to happen. Using the wrong fuel is like feeding a high-performance athlete a diet of fast food and expecting them to break world records. Sure, they might still function, but they won't be at their best, and sooner or later their performance will take a nosedive. When you put regular fuel in an engine designed for premium, you risk causing engine knocking, a sound that's about as pleasant as a jackhammer outside your window at 6 a.m. Knock happens when the fuel ignites at the wrong time, creating mini explosions inside your engine. Over time, these explosions can cause serious damage to pistons, cylinders, and other critical parts, leading to expensive repairs. And let's talk about performance. Using lower octane fuel means your engine isn't running at peak efficiency. You'll get sluggish acceleration, reduced power, and worse fuel economy, so that money you thought you were saving at the pump, yeah, you're just spending it on extra gas instead. If your car needs premium, use premium. Otherwise, you're playing a very expensive game of, let's see what breaks first. And trust me, the house always wins. Thing 8. Driving with worn-out wiper blades. Trying to see through a rainstorm with worn-out wipers is like trying to read a book underwater. It's impossible, stressful, and downright dangerous. Your wipers are your car's only defense against heavy rain, and when they're streaking or barely moving water off your windshield, you might as well be driving blind. Some drivers act like windshield wipers should last forever, but these little rubber strips deal with sun exposure, dirt, and endless wiping motions, wearing down over time. They can start leaving streaks, making screeching noises, or, even worse, not clearing your windshield at all. Imagine suddenly being caught in a torrential downpour, and instead of getting a clear view of the road, your wipers just smear the rain around like a toddler smearing finger paint. It's a terrifying experience. Wipers are cheap, yet so many people procrastinate replacing them. If they start streaking or making noise, do yourself a favor and swap them out before you're caught in a storm with zero visibility. Plus, keeping fresh wipers means you don't have to stick your head out the window like Ace Ventura just to see where you're going. Thing 9. Overloading the car. Your car isn't a moving truck, yet some people treat it like they're gearing up for an expedition across the Sahara. Piling in 5 passengers, a trunk full of bricks, and strapping a mattress to the roof might seem like a genius way to save a few trips, but trust me, your car is silently crying for help. Overloading puts a serious strain on the suspension, making the ride feel like you're bouncing on a worn-out trampoline. The brakes also suffer, taking longer to bring your overloaded tank to a stop, which is especially dangerous in emergencies. And let's talk about the engine. It has to work overtime just to drag all that extra weight around, increasing wear and tear that'll have your mechanic rubbing his hands together in anticipation of a hefty repair bill. Fuel economy? Forget about it. Your car guzzles gas like a marathon runner chugging water at the finish line. The more weight you carry, the harder your engine has to work, and the more money you'll spend at the pump. Stick to the recommended weight limits. Your car isn't a pack mule, and treating it like one will lead to expensive consequences. Unless, of course, you enjoy spending your weekends at the auto shop. Thing 10. Driving with low tire pressure. Low tire pressure doesn't just reduce fuel efficiency, it turns your car into a sluggish, gas-guzzling mess that's harder to control. It's like trying to run a marathon with half-inflated balloons for shoes. You'll get there eventually, but it's going to be a struggle, and you're going to wear yourself out much faster than necessary. When your tires are underinflated, they create more rolling resistance, meaning your engine has to work harder just to keep you moving. This not only increases fuel consumption, but also wears out your tires unevenly. You'll notice the edges of the tire start balding while the center stays relatively intact, meaning you'll be shelling out for replacements way sooner than you should. Handling also takes a major hit. Underinflated tires make your steering feel sluggish and unresponsive. And in wet conditions, they're more prone to hydroplaning since they can't channel water away effectively. You might as well be driving on banana peels if you let your tires go too long without proper inflation. And let's not forget safety. Low-pressure tires overheat more easily, which increases the risk of a blowout at high speeds. Imagine cruising down the highway at 70 mph, only for one of your tires to give up on life. Not a fun situation to be in. Check your tire pressure regularly. Your tires, and your wallet, will thank you, and you'll avoid the nightmare of suddenly losing control because you didn't spend 2 minutes with a pressure gauge. Thing number 11. Slamming the doors. Slamming your car doors may not seem like a big deal, but over time, it can mess up the hinges, damage the window seals, and even affect the alignment of the door itself. Think of it like repeatedly slamming the fridge door. It might not break immediately, but sooner or later, something's going to give. When you slam a car door, you're sending a shockwave through the entire frame. It's not just about the noise. It's about all the small components, screws, and mechanisms inside the door panel that slowly get knocked loose over time. If you've ever wondered why your car door suddenly starts rattling or doesn't shut quite right anymore, excessive slamming might be to blame. Then there's the weather stripping, the rubber seals around your door that keep rain, wind, and outside noise from creeping in. When you slam the door constantly, those seals get compressed and weakened, leading to annoying wind noises while driving or, worse, water leaks when it rains. And let's not forget about your windows. Modern car doors have delicate window regulators inside, and a hard slam can gradually misalign the window track. Ever had a window that suddenly refuses to roll up properly? Yeah, repeated door abuse might have caused that. Unless you enjoy spending money on fixing doors that won't shut properly, take it easy on them. Treat your car with a little respect. After all, it's your daily companion on the road. Thing 12. Ignoring weird noises. Cars talk, not in words, but in sounds. And just like ignoring a friend who keeps dropping hints that something's wrong, ignoring your car's noises can lead to some serious problems. If your car starts making a weird noise, don't just turn up the radio and pretend it's fine. That's like covering up a leak in your roof with duct tape. It might seem okay for a while, but sooner or later, you're going to have a much bigger mess on your hands. That squeak, rattle, or clunk is your car warning you. Maybe it's a loose belt, a failing suspension component, or something rolling around under the seat. Hey, we've all lost something down there. But if the noise is new and persistent, don't ignore it. A simple fix today could save you from a massive repair bill down the road. And if you ever hear a loud knocking noise from the engine, well, you might as well start looking up the price of a new engine, because that's your car's way of telling you it's had enough of your neglect. Moral of the story: when your car speaks, listen. Thing 13. Neglecting transmission fluid changes. A lot of people forget that their transmission needs fluid changes just like the engine does. Then they wonder why their car won't shift properly, why it hesitates when they accelerate, or why it feels like their car is struggling up even the slightest of hills. Skipping transmission fluid changes is like never changing your toothbrush. It's just asking for trouble. Over time, that fluid gets dirty, thick, and loses its ability to properly lubricate the moving parts inside your transmission. Imagine trying to run a marathon while breathing through a clogged straw. Your transmission feels the same kind of struggle when it's trying to operate with old, contaminated fluid. What happens next? Gears grind, shifting becomes rough, and before you know it, you're facing a complete transmission failure. One of the most expensive car repairs you can have. And trust me, replacing a transmission isn't cheap. You'd probably rather spend that money on a vacation, or literally anything else. So do yourself and your wallet a favor. Check your owner's manual, follow the recommended schedule, and get that transmission fluid changed before your car starts shifting like it's having an identity crisis. Thing 14. Revving a cold engine. Your engine isn't ready to go full throttle the second you start it. It needs time to wake up, just like you do in the morning. Imagine rolling out of bed and immediately running a full-speed sprint. Your muscles would protest and you'd probably pull something. Well, your engine feels the same way when you rev it hard before it's had a chance to warm up. When your engine is cold, the oil is thick and hasn't had time to circulate properly. This means vital components like pistons, cylinders, and bearings are operating without optimal lubrication. Think of it as trying to slide down a dry slip and slide. It's rough, uncomfortable, and bound to cause damage. Revving. A cold engine also puts unnecessary strain on the moving parts, leading to excessive wear and even potential cracks in metal components. It's like forcing a frozen rubber band to stretch. It might work for a while, but eventually it's going to snap. Instead of mashing the throttle right away, give your car a minute or two to idle, allowing the oil to flow and the engine to reach its ideal temperature. Then ease into acceleration instead of treating your gas pedal like a launch button at a drag race. Your engine will last longer, and you'll avoid costly repairs down the road. Thing 15. Not subscribing to this channel. This might be the biggest mistake of all. If you want more car tips, tricks, and entertaining content, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It only takes a second, and it helps the channel out massively. Which of these mistakes have you seen people make? Drop a comment below. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe to Car Culture Central, and I'll see you in the next one.